Many of us dream of setting a world record. Some of them are easy to break, but there are some records that no one has even dreamed of breaking because jumping out of a capsule from the stratosphere or covering yourself with bees is either too dangerous or simply impossible. In this video, we are going to take a look at 10 world records that can't be repeated. Number 10. The world's largest pizza. Is there anything in the world that is as satisfying as a regular pizza? Yes, there is, and probably even better, the world's largest pizza. Before we give you the details, what do you think is the size of this pizza? It was made on December 13th, 2012. Obviously, this pizza was made in Italy. This pizza was named Octavia in honor of the first Roman emperor, Octavian Augustus. If you imagine a baking sheet under this pizza, it would measure close to 117 by 117 feet. The pizza was made by some of the best chefs in Italy. Number 9. The heaviest man that ever lived. Before I tell you where the heaviest man and women are from, where do you think they are from? If you thought a country in Europe, you are wrong. It doesn't come off as a surprise to anyone who's told that both the heaviest man and woman records are held by Americans. Of all the countries, the US has the highest percentage of obesity, which was 39% in 2017. Believe us, it goes up, not down. The name of the heaviest man on Earth was John Bower. At age 12, he weighed 135 kilograms. His weight increased steadily until he reached a peak weight of 635 kilograms in 1978. Sadly, but not surprisingly, that March he suffered a heart attack and respiratory failure. 12 firemen were needed to transport him to University Hospital in Seattle. Once there, he was diagnosed with massive edema, and the doctor estimated that he carried 400 kilograms of accumulated fluid. That's the scientific term for fat. He remained in the hospital for 2 years, lying on 2 beds against each other. It required 13 people to roll him over. While in the hospital, John married a woman named Jeanette, and because she weighed only 50 kilograms, both John and Jeanette set a world record for the biggest weight difference between spouses. John died in 1983 at the age of 41. I think nobody wants to beat that record. Number 8. World's longest human mattress domino fall. This is another record in the category of strange and weird. Before we are going to talk about the record that was broken and still stands, we need to explain exactly what human mattress dominoes are differing from human dominoes who just fall on one another in succession. Human mattress dominoes rely on people holding a bed mattress behind their back. In this particular world record attempt, everyone who joined the human mattress dominoes was using a twin-size mattress, and this particular record was set at the immense Gaylord Resort and Conference Center in National Harbor, Maryland. 1,200 participants joined the human mattress dominoes. That's 1,200 people holding 1,200 mattresses in a row. This entire event took over 13 minutes to complete. Do you want to know what the biggest flex about this record is? All of the mattresses were donated to people in need in the greater Washington, D.C. area. That's an awesome record. Number 7. The world's highest shallow dive. In case you don't know what that is, it's a dive from any height into a pool of water no more than 12 inches deep. As you'd imagine, the technique of choice by shallow divers is that of a belly flop or belly buster. The person who holds the record for highest shallow dive is Darren Taylor, also known as Professor Splash. He has been progressing higher and higher over his career. One day, he finally broke the highest shallow dive record. He presently holds the world record at 10.3 meters. The average single-story house is only 3.3 meters high, so that is 3 times the height of a single-story house. And he is splashing down into a kiddie pool that holds roughly a foot of water. Number 6. Most Jell-O eaten with chopsticks in 1 minute. The rules to defeat this world record are pretty simple. All you have to do is eat all the Jell-O you want with chopsticks. It's actually pretty difficult. The current record is a mere 3.2 ounces of Jell-O in 1 minute. You can use any flavor of Jell-O, but only one hand can be used and the other must be behind your back. It looks like it's an easy record to break, but it's actually really hard. Number 5. The most prolific parents. One of the weirdest and craziest records in the world is held by Vesel Yep, an 18th century peasant from the Suja district in Moscow. Fyodor and his 2 wives had 22 sets of twins, 9 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. He was born around 1707 and began fathering rapidly at the age of 18. 40 years later, he finally stopped. He said that all but 2 of his children survived infancy. a remarkable number for that time. And by the time he was interviewed at age 75, 84 of his kids were still living. This was such an extraordinary thing at the time, he was sent to St. Petersburg to meet Empress Catherine. And who was the most prolific mother? It had to be somewhat related to fate, right? Well, yes. It was Vader's first wife. No one seems to have bothered to discover her first name, which is a shame because she deserves far more accolades than her husband does. After all, she endured 27 pregnancies and 69 births. Number 4. Most wins at World Beard and Mustache Championships. Men grow their beards now more than ever before. Beards are loved annually at the World Beard and Mustache Championships, where competitors from all over the world show off their facial hair. There are multiple categories, allowing people to compete in the division that best suits their beard or mustache. In the realm of this international competition, one competitor stands above the rest. Karl-Heinz Hill of Germany has 8 wins to his name. His beard has stood out the most for 8 years. No one has been able to beat him in this category, and we don't think anyone will anytime soon. Number 3. Longest time spent on a gurney. For this record, the Guinness Book of World Records created a whole new category. A 40-year-old Brit reported that he laid on a gurney for 77 hours and 30 minutes. Collins was a diabetic patient and caught a virus that sent him to Princess Margaret Hospital in Swindon, England, on Saturday, February 24, 2001. When he arrived at the hospital, he was told he would have to wait for a bed. He didn't expect that he would have to wait 4 days in the hallway. He was put on a gurney in a hallway parked outside the bathroom at 3 o'clock. They finally found a room for him at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Ironically, while Guinness was still investigating Collins' claims, he fell ill again and returned to Princess Margaret. This time, he was left on a gurney for 60 hours. Number 2. Man covered by the most bees. This is a type of record that you just want to ignore and don't even want to break. For this record, we turn to a man who took Guinness records up a notch by being completely covered in bees. And no, he was not wearing a beekeeper suit. This guy was in the smallest amount of clothing possible while plugging nearly every opening with a cork of some sort to keep the bees from literally infiltrating his brain. The name of the person who currently holds the world record is Yuan Liang Ming. Fortunately for Yuan, he was able to break the record in his home country because there would be no other way to count the bees on a person. The record was done by weight. Total weight minus Yuan's weight equals the weight of the bees. He was 2 ounces shy of 137 pounds. 137 pounds of bees. No one's crazy enough to beat this record. Number 1. Fall from space. In 2012, Australian Felix Baumgartner's supersonic skydive set 5 world records. The aerospace pioneer, aided by the Red Bull Stratos team, tested the physical limits of mankind when he became the first person to break the sound barrier in freefall. The 43-year-old also set new records for the highest freefall parachute jump, the highest vertical speed in freefall, and the greatest freefall distance. More than 8 million people tuned in online to watch the feat, also setting a new record for the most concurrent views of a live stream on YouTube. The attempt saw Felix jump from a capsule taken to the center of the stratosphere above New Mexico by a giant helium balloon. The daredevil descended to Earth within the attributed speed of 835.9 miles per hour. It took 9 minutes for him to reach the ground. Guinness World Record officials were on the ground at the attempt site in Roswell, with Felix presented with a Guinness World Record certificate to mark his achievement following his safe return to Earth. No one is breaking this record anytime soon. Which one of these would you be able to beat? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.